Today marks 5 years since a white supremacist murdered 9 worshipers at the Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina. They were shot and killed during Bible study at the historic church called Mother Emanuel because it's known for its political activism. Before the anniversary, tens of thousands of people hit the streets around the country to protest racial injustice. Ethel Lee Lance, a parishioner at Mother Emanuel for 45 years, was one of the 9 who were killed that day. We spoke with her daughter, Sharon Risher, when we were in South Carolina for the debate, and the church pastor, the Reverend Eric Manning, who took over from the previous pastor who died in the shooting. We asked them both how they're turning the tragedy into a call for change.
After the tragedy in Charleston, there was no really protesting or anything. At that time, the country, and especially Charleston, we were so heartbroken to, I think, get out and protest and riot. Now what we see is the anger and the protests from Charleston, the anger from Baltimore and Ferguson and all of these things. That's where this anger is. And people are just tired, not knowing. You leave your house and you might not come back, that you might find yourself in a situation that goes wrong and then you're dead. So those protesters, I march with them in my heart. I march with them yelling Emanuel 9. The country is in a place of reckoning. And we already know that this reckoning has to come from the people that hold the power, the people who make policies, cultural changes. There's a lot, and that's where our country is.
Where we are today, some would have said that we should have been further along with our race relations. And we're not, just to be very candid. It takes leadership at the highest level, not to necessarily get in the way, but to lend his or her voice to begin to usher in a new year, a new season within this country where all Americans, black, white, regardless of the color of your skin, feel that this is home.
Oh, the Reverend Manning told us the parish will march on Sunday to remember those who lost their lives in the shooting 5 years ago, as well as George Floyd and all the others who have died as a result of police brutality. Anthony, I thought that was going to be an interview that I had done with them. I've talked to both Sharon and the pastor, and I thought they were going to show that interview. But that was an interview that CBS did yesterday. That goes to show you never assume. Bad things happen when you assume. But when you talk to them, some people will say it seems like yesterday. I can't believe it's 5 years. But when you talk to the people who were personally affected by this, they said it seems like yesterday. It never goes away. And I understand that.
I do too. It was such a chilling day. I remember it so well, Gail, and I agree with you. I can't believe it's been 5 years, but it was a heartbreaking day, and I imagine for them to see what's going on now is in many ways a continuation of that heartbreak.
Yeah,
but you know what?
You know, such a clear
wait, Tony, just a sec before you go, because the thing that struck everybody about that day. The shooter that day had prayed with them for over an hour before he opened fire. That's something I can never ever forget. Tony, sorry.
Nope.
No, you're right. It's a haunting detail, and it's such a clear and hateful act of racism. And now the challenge today, the conversation today is how do you address not those clear acts, but the more subtle acts, the more systemic and outcome-based acts where, you know, the evidence is there all around us. It's just harder to look it in the face because it's not as clear-cut as the Dylann Roof case.